Hey guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video. In this video, I'm doing my AFL Fantasy team reveal for round 3, going through the trades, etc., how I'm tracking, and everything, I guess, that has happened. So, well, nothing's really happened midweek. I sort of knew the options, the two options, and they're sort of still unknown with team sheets. Still yet to be named. This is filmed on the Thursday morning, so we still don't know the team sheets for the all the other games except for the Thursday night game. So depending on the Thursday night game, you will see two different trades, and I'll go through those said trades options where in this video and how that sort of structures up and why I'm sort of thinking this way and why I'm leaning to one way. But if I don't get what I want, then obviously we will readjust. But before we get into this video, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload, and let's get into the video. So as you can see here, I scored 1844 as we went through in the recap, 23k ranking wise, but I think I should be catching up this week because a lot of people are doing a lot of trades that I don't think are optimal. With trading out potentially premiums down to mid prices, and I don't think that's the way to go with all of this. So that's how I think I'm going to catch up, and a lot of people also have guys on the buy where I think I'm going to be able to catch up this week, especially with the GWS and the Gold Coast buys. So I'm looking at that and thinking, yeah, I can catch up here. So we have here that Sheasel is D1. He's been there for the last couple of weeks now. Hayden Young still in the defensive slot. It's just because there's a lot of other spot fires I've got to fix, a couple of injuries and a couple of role changes that I've got to do that are hopefully going to fix it. But we've heard some positive news about Hayden Young in that he's going to more so track a player, which is what he was doing in the last 4 or 5 games last year. And that should help him to get more of to have those repetitive big tackle games that we saw. We saw it here. And then last week we didn't really see a big tackle game. And hopefully he can get those 25 touches to 30 touches that we can hopefully see. And that'll get him back up to 100 because a lot of people are starting to consider trading him out. His numbers are 44%. If I go here to trade outs, coach choices, trade outs, you'll see he is the 4th traded out with 4.2k trade outs. So yeah, I'm looking at that and thinking that I can make up some ground here with Hayden Young. If people are trading him out and he goes big, then if he goes 100 and he's gone 95, 100 and a 70 and a 75, and then he's averaging, what would that be? An average of 9. If he goes 110, that's an average of, I think, 93 or whatever across 3 games, which isn't even that bad. And yeah, I think that 75 could be a slight blip game, which if it's a blip game, then that's not too worrying actually. So I'm sort of hoping he turns out like Duggan did last year for me, where I had too many other spot fires, and you can see the sort of similarities here, and he was in my sort of D2, D3 range. There was too many other spot fires to fix, and I was able to hold him long enough, literally 1 week long enough, to get him up to hold him until he started going 100s again, which is, so that's what I'm looking at. Elliot Yeo, perfect, and yeah, just hoping he continues. That role is perfect for him. He is the bull in the midfield for the Eagles at the moment. You got Tim Kelly, the distributor. You got Elliot Yeo in that, and Harley Reid is playing a role, but he's not. He's an impact player, so he's not going to get the touches or the tackles that Elliot Yeo gets, which is exactly what we want. Zach Williams back. Hopefully he can perform and just get a 70 or 80 because I need that. As I have quite a lot of mid prices that do need upgrading, but if mid prices can, alongside their rookie counterparts, really have some good scoring, then there'll be some good cash gen there, and that cash gen will allow me to really skyrocket these guys up to premiums quickly. Blake Howes, rookie of the year in terms of cash generation, probably at the moment, just because of his positioning, honestly. Him in the back line has helped a lot of things, because if he wasn't in the back line, there would be a lot of chaos. And then and you see here that Caulfield has gone down to Ari Schoenmaker, and this is the Ari Schoenmaker. This is the Caulfield and Sexton for Schoenmaker and Powell trade. Yes, there are other defenders that I think I can grab here if I just go to 200 to 299k. It is absolutely pelting down, so sorry if you can hear that. It is raining in Sydney hard today. But 2 to 299k, and we go to last round. You'll see that Hewland's on the bye. Toby Pink I can just not afford, so it would be a Draper or another debutant. Will Graham could actually come in soon. He's done really well in the VFL. So is Mitchell as well, but Mitchell is vying for a midfield spot, and with the midfield you've got Parker and Adams coming back. Adams should be named, I think, this week. So, yes, I don't think he'll play, but I'm basically banking on, and this is why I want this option first, is Ari Schoenmaker to come in, because I have more trust in Ari Schoenmaker as a rookie than I do as Chris Burgess as a rookie or something like that, along that lines. And also I have more trust in Powell over Massimo, as I said in my trade targets video, which was recorded on the Tuesday, that was released on the Wednesday. So that's why I like the Aaron Schoenmaker. He did go 137. I don't expect him to do that, obviously, in the... he did 137 or something in the VFL. I don't expect him to do that in the AFL. But he could provide 60 off the bench and just do that. And at 191, he provides real good size. And he could also become I think he could also play a lockdown role and help free up Bonner. But maybe that's too many in the back line, or relying too heavily on the St Kilda back line. And then Reed is just sitting there. He's 4 weeks away. I'm going to hold at this point with Reed, as he could be just... it would almost be like... his time will come, and that I feel like using a trade now will just waste a trade. Whereas I feel like he could be that guy that I just trade out in like round 18 or whatever. And that'll be like my final upgrade, is Zach Reed when he's like 350k after finally getting his break even sorted and everything. That's when I trade him out. And so yeah, I'm not too worried about Reed sitting on my bench. It's just another 2 or 3 weeks that we got to get through. And honestly, once I get through this week, if I have 6 defenders, it's only Blake Howes that I really have to worry about. And by then, he could be used as an upgrade. We could have another downgrade guy to be used there to alleviate the pressure on that defensive back 6. Because once we get to DPPs, I am totally sorted, because I have Nick Martin, Matt Roberts, Colby McKercher, Zach Fisher can even float back if we needed to be. Riley Bonner can float back as well. So you've got so many guys that can float back that DPP, and my whole midfield is going to be sorted through the back line, that I'm going to have about 11 backmen by then, which is just going to help alleviate the pressure on who I can actually trade in. Bond, I expect him to get named. He's playing West Coast, and yeah, so I expect him to get named. He has had some foot complaints, but will have the captaincy for me this week because it's West Coast and he could put up like 150 against them. And if he really wants the Brownlow, this is the games that he's got to play, because he's got to get these 3 vote games here. Butters, yep, doing his thing. 112 average for the year, 117 last week, doing his thing. I did think about a steal VC against Essendon. I did think about that, but I thought Max Gawn against Port with Soldo, I think he can really tear him apart there. And so that's why I went with the Max Gawn. And let me just check if we do have any data to suggest Max Gawn does well against Soldo, because then I may switch. If we do have a direct data link between Soldo restricting Max Gawn, then I will, then I guess I will, I can actually go to, I can actually do this, and you'll see what I mean by, and see if Soldo's solo rucked against Melbourne before, because that'll be the big indicator if he's actually played Melbourne before as a solo ruck. Soldo against Melbourne, 2 games, here we go. He's solo rucked in round 20 of 2023 and round 20 of 2023. What did Max Gawn go? Max Gawn went 1-3-1 against Ivan Soldo in the ruck. Yep, thank you. That's exactly what I wanted to see. And then Ivan Soldo in 2019, the 2019 game here, he went 104. So he averages 117.5 against, Gawn averages 117.5 against Soldo in the ruck. And you can look at these games here. We'll bring them up here. It's this one, open link in new tab, and then this one here, open link in new tab. You can bring up the stats here. You can see Soldo, and you had Chol as a backup as well, which they'll have Finlayson, and I think Chol's even almost a harder ruck matchup for Gawn in a sense. And then in this game as well, you had Gawn doing his thing, and then you had Ben Miller and Bolter and Marlon Piggott. I think Finlayson will be an easier matchup for Gawn. So yeah, I'm really looking at this and thinking Gawn could go absolutely nuts here against Port Adelaide. So I'm looking at that and thinking, yep, Gawn VC on lock here for across both formats. I'll give you the a preview there for the Supercoach. Is going to be VC across both formats. My VC and captain across both formats are Gawn and Bond. Sorry. So yeah, we talked about Steele. We talked about haven't talked about Martin, but yeah, he's doing his job. And yes, Redmond back could impact some things, but I think Redmond back will just help their backline a little bit, giving them a little bit more stability as the Swans have just been running through them. And so yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they start doing a little bit more possession football, as if you can just stop the Swans with the quick transitions, and possession football should allow you to set up your structure a little bit better. So just slowing it down a little bit and giving a couple more kick marks, switching the play a little bit should allow them to set the structure up a lot better, because they are just conceding on transition. They've conceded, I think Howes put it, or David Hoy put it, 19 shots in 2 games, which is the third worst span across ever since that from defensive 50 has ever been implemented, and the other 2 were teams that were second last or bottom. So just shows you that Essendon really need to structure up better. Whether that means Martin potentially goes back to a wing, I don't think so. I think they would just persist with him in the half-back space. And so I don't think he's going to do too bad, and I think he could be easily a top 6 or top 8 defender. But I think that was just a poor game. We saw with the stats reflected on his quarter-on-quarter play that 58 from 2 different quarters and 3 from another 2. With them having the injuries to the wingman, I could see them potentially pushing other guys up into the wing, or Jack Sinclair on ball, which could actually work. Jack Sinclair on ball, Zach Jones out to a wing, and then that sort of enables Bonner and even maybe a Schoenmaker comes into the side to roam with Wengdeen Malira down back. So that is something that I think could occur, but I don't know the Saints inside and out to tell you that that's going to happen. But yes, they did lose 2 wingers, so they're going to have to bring in someone, 2 guys in there. So I don't think Bonner's going to get dropped. I think he just had a bad game, and you can have that. He's had a couple of good games beforehand, and he went really good in the trial game and really good in round 1. So he had a bad 2 quarters, basically. Matty Roberts doing his thing, and yeah, his job security is pretty much solidified. I know this sounds crazy, but I prefer Matty Roberts over Jake Lloyd now. And so I don't know where... I think that, and I was thinking about this last night, is with Taylor Adams most likely this week or next week coming back, even though I would probably be a little bit hesitant, maybe even play him as I know this sounds crazy, as the sub, just to let him ease back into it. But if he does play in the starting 22, which is probably what's going to happen, I would expect just them to chop 10% off Heaney, 5% off Heaney, CBA's 5% off Chad Warner, and then chop out, just put James Jordan or McInerney onto the wing, and then you can have that sort of time there, and Harry Cunningham probably, or just put McInerney to half back. I think that could work as well, as I think he's really shown that he can be an accountable also on his man. So you could do that, but they may just put Robbie Fox down back and bring him back in. But yeah, I do think that Adams will still have that role, and yeah, I think Parker will just come back and be half forward, to be honest with you, when he comes back. So I think they both slot into the side, and then Callum Mills, when he comes back, probably just slots into the half-back role, and that maybe knocks Jake Lloyd out of the side. McKercher, half-back, perfect role. Sanders, when he gets a full game, he goes big. Simple as that. Jeremy Sharp doing really well, and yeah, one guy that we can probably just hold for a long while as this cash gen's going to go. Jai Clark has a really good role. Some were saying that Tanner Bruin may impact him, but I haven't heard much about Paddy Dangerfield injury-wise. So let me just look up the Geelong, and then we go... Let's find I want to find their injury report just to see if the likes of Paddy Dangerfield has been named there, because if he's been named there, then that's not looking good for health report. Here we go. Let's just see. Expected to miss the next fortnight with a low-grade hamstring injury, while a couple of midfielders are expected to be available. Let's just see. Jack Bowes, I think you're going to go for Jai Clark, to be honest, over him. And then Tom Atkins is supposed to be back, as well as Tanner Bruin remains a test. So I don't think they'll drop him necessarily. I think you gotta get more games into the midfield of Jai Clark. So I don't expect him to be dropped. And yeah, he's going to start to make money soon, I expect. So yeah, he's one that I'm going to hold for this week, and then we'll see but I wouldn't be honestly surprised if they do drop him, but let's hope he doesn't get dropped. I don't expect him to, but I wouldn't be surprised is what I'd say about that. Max Gawn, as I said, with that little review on the through DFS, I want him to be my VC because I expect him to go big against Ivan Soldo. And yeah, because it basically has the same conditions as what we saw in the Ivan Soldo matchup, where Jacob Van Rooyen was the number 2 ruck rather than having a Brodie Grundy or a Luke Jackson as a number 2. And also we saw that Ivan Soldo was the solo ruck alongside with a Marbiel Chol or who else was it? Finlayson will be. But yeah, you saw that the ruck matchups was exactly sort of similar to what we'll get. And both times Gawn has dominated, so I'm going to go with Gawn. Brodie Grundy, sticking with him. He has the Nank matchup this week, and I think he's shown before, if we go to Brodie Grundy, that I'm pretty sure he does relatively well against the likes of... let's just check here. Where is he? Where's Richmond? Here we go. Averages 98 against Richmond. And you can see that includes 54 last year where he got 48% ruck contests, a 139, an 82, 79, 111, 134, 147. And that's also that 82 was not adjusted for. That is not adjusted realistically. So if you actually 82 times 1.25 equals 102.5 plus 139 plus 79 plus 111 plus 134 plus 147 plus 115 plus 123 plus 99 plus 91. And I'm just trying to see his, and that is sort of, and then a 95 as well. And you've got that, and then he doesn't really get the ruck contest that you sort of expect out of a solo ruck. So this is when he was solo rucking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Divide by 11. So when he solo rucks against Richmond, he averages 112. I mean, that is throughout his whole career when he was actually going really, really well. But a 112 average against Richmond, I am taking that. So yeah, I'm not going to VC him or captain him, obviously. But he could be a VC option against... I want to see how English does, because I think English will be a good replica of what Brodie Grundy does. But next week, there could be a cheeky VC on Brodie Grundy against Bailey Williams and Harry Barnett in the ruck for West Coast, if all things go according to plan. And if Bailey Williams goes down, then there definitely will be a VC on Brodie Grundy, as that matchup could be so juicy. So yeah, that is basically the ruck line. Harry Barnett making some good cash there. If he plays again, makes another 29, he'll go up another like 8-9k, and he'll start to get that break even to a good point where it's like 15, 10 and stuff, and he starts to make 10 to 15k. Hopefully he gets a full game in him sometime, because a full game could get him a 40 or a 50, and that's when he starts to make some cash. And you never know with him making making 100k across like 10 weeks or whatever, 300k, and then 100k could come in handy sometime. Isaac Heaney has moved his way up to F1, and he's doing his thing. He has 2 soft matchups, so even with Adams coming back, he could honestly kick 5 or 6 against West Coast in the game next week. So yeah, I expect him to still average 105 or so across these 2 weeks, even with the interruption in the midfield. And if he goes 120, then he goes 120, and that's as good as we can get, and he's 30% owned, so a lot of people are missing him. A lot of people went Flanders, so the next 2 weeks could really damage them, the Flanders owners, as we could pocket potentially 90 points back on them. LJ, because you wouldn't really be picking him up 2 weeks before his bye, to be honest with you, with all the uncertainty with Adams, etc. So yes, I think we can pocket 90 points back in the next 2 weeks on Flanders owners. LJ, I need to think about ways to get him out of my side, honestly, now that Sean Darcy is 2 weeks away. But if you look at this, 2 to 3 weeks, if we can get it so that Sean Darcy comes back for West Coast, then I'll be happy to hold LJ as a forward against West Coast, as he could honestly kick 5 or 6 against them, like, no kidding aside. So yes, I'll look at that. And we look at the fixture status. Let's just see, what does he average against West Coast? He averages 88 against West Coast. So yeah, I'm looking at that and thinking he can do that. So I mean, I'm looking at plans to get him out, but that may be around 7 or something like that, depending on what goes on there. And there are, I'm thinking about different scenarios of like Brodie Grundy and James Jordan up to Sam Flanders and someone else, chuck on Brodie Grundy's bye. Chuck Jackson into the ruck line for 1 week, and then Jackson and the spare cash from James Jordan up to a like a Marshall or an English or something like that, and that's sort of some scenario I've thought of. Zach Fisher doing his thing, yep, he's totally fine. Tom Powell comes into the side, most likely, and I know this video is going long, but I'll quickly show the Massimo trade scenario. But yeah, I really like Tom Powell's role, and it looks like he is stuck in that midfield. But if we do see Will Phillips named, it is Massimo no matter what happens with Schoenmaker. As if Will Phillips named, there's too many midfielders there. I think Tom Powell's role drastically decreases, and then I will jump out. But I'm not expecting Will Phillips to be named. I think Tom Powell is the big one. Is the big addition to their midfield full time now, as his role has completely changed. Jack Billings, I'm just hoping him and James Jordan to make some more cash across the next couple of weeks. And then Lazaro, Seth Campbell, and Darcy Wilson on the bench. And then if we do go to, if I do, how am I going to do this? Edit, I can do this. Then I can go here, and then I can go Massimo. And then that looks fine. Then I just go like that. System, of course it's a bloody system error. Let me just roll back the team, as that'll be quicker. Far out. It doesn't want to work because, you know, there's system errors across the park. Okay, let's go here, and then also Sexton. So it will be these two out, and it will just be depending on who I want to bring in. If I go Massimo, I forgot, and there we go, defenders, there we go. And then also in the forward line, I have 256k to spend, and it would probably be best to use it on a complete, some would say a complete rookie, some would say other things. It probably will be, I do like Chris Burgess at the moment as a potential option, as his role is solidified and he's going to make cash if you just look at the projections. So there is that, and then we just put Darcy Wilson there. So there is this potential option here where it looks like this, and it looks like that. So that would be the side, the midfield and the ruck line don't change, and then the forward line just, Tom Powell could come in next week or something. So I could go to this, but I'm more worried about Massimo scoring, as I think he is more potential of a 40 score than Tom Powell is. But that'll be depending on the team sheets, I guess, and who's named. Because it's not necessarily about where they're named, it's more about the personnel that's named. Because if, like I was saying, if North Melbourne name another midfielder and add another midfielder to the mix and Will Powell that can't really be put elsewhere alongside LZU and also Wardlaw, then you start to think Tom Powell's going to be pushed somewhere else. So I don't expect that to happen, as I've been saying, but that is a case. And then also if Schoenmaker doesn't get named, or we don't get another... and I don't suggest doing this because... yes, we don't like picking up 200k basement rookies, etc., like a Schoenmaker or something on the first week. You'd like to give them a week, but this is dire straits scenario with the defenders having only 5 playing defenders with 2 injuries and 1 bye. So, yeah, having to swap one out. And yes, definitely for the time being, Showmaker may need to be just used and hope that he has a good game rather than hope that, then wait a week, I guess. So, yes, I wouldn't necessarily always suggest to do this with Showmaker, but if you're in the situation like me, it's not the worst shout if you just pick a 200k guy and just hope that he plays well. But anyway, that pretty much is the video there, going through the my team setup for the round 3 AFL Fantasy, and you'll see my Supercoach team, which will probably be a shorter video, and then also my tips coming out at probably 1 or 2 p.m. And that'll be that for the week, and then you'll see my recaps of the Thursday night game on Friday and the 2 Friday games on Saturday. But anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.